Dear colleagues, my name is Arndt Künnecke and I'm a professor for public law and politics in Germany. In the forthcoming 12 minutes, I would like to share my experiences in team-based learning with you. These are mainly based on the perspective of a teacher, but also take into account the fruitful feedback from my students over the past years. Let me start with a short outline of my presentation. At the beginning, I will shortly define what team-based learning is about. Then I will present the 4 main design principles for team-based learning. The main focus of my presentation will be on the different stages of team-based learning process. After that, I will show you how team-based learning can be practiced in various environments. Finally, I will conclude my presentation with the benefits of team-based learning. Please feel free to ask me any questions and to share your experiences and comments after the presentation. To have a common understanding of what team-based learning is about, let me give you a short definition of the concept of team-based learning on which this presentation is based. I understand team-based learning as a special form of collaborative learning using a specific sequence of individual work, group work and intermediate feedback to create a motivational framework in which students increasingly hold each other accountable, coming to class prepared and contributing to discussion. Designing a legal course at university in accordance with the team-based learning concept, 4 essential principles need to be met. The so-called TAAF principles. The first design principle, the letter T, stands for teams. This is the starting point of each team-based learning course. So first of all, you need to divide your class into several teams. To ensure that these teams can work effectively, they should comprise only 4 up to maximum 6 students. To avoid any gridlock role allocation in any team, the team should be diverse and non-permanent. The continuous change of each team's composition in each lesson encourages the students to be more active in the teamwork and discussions and generally provides a better output. As the second design principle, the first A stands for accountability. This means that each student is accountable for pre-class preparation and contributing to the team's success in class. As third design principle, the second A stands for application. It means that the students need to apply the course concepts and can be reported in simple form. Finally, as fourth design principle, the letter F stands for feedback. That reminds the teachers of the importance that students need frequent and timely feedback. These are the 4 guiding principles of the design of any team-based learning course or activity. Let me show you now how these principles are realized in team-based learning courses. In principle, there are 3 stages of team-based learning process. First, pre-class preparation, second, readiness assurance process, and third, team application exercises. Each team-based learning course starts with a pre-class preparation. Before each class, the students receive tasks for self-directed learning, for example, by means of reading material from textbooks, online sources, or instructor-provided videos. It means that you, as the instructor, need to carefully decide in advance which means of pre-class material should be provided for the students in order to prepare them best possible for the in-class lessons content. The pre-class material needs to be carefully selected and prepared by you as the instructor. Each student is accountable for the preparation of the pre-class material, which serves as prerequisite for a successful teamwork in class. When the students come to class, they enter the second stage of each team-based learning, the so-called readiness assurance process, for which about 20% of the in-class time should be reserved. It means that you, as the instructor, need to make sure that your students are ready for your in-class activity. But how can you check that? The first task for your students when they arrive in the classroom is to pass a short test, either multiple choice or fill-in-the-blank questions, based on the core content of pre-class preparation. First of all, each student is supposed to answer the test questions individually But before receiving their marks, the students need to take the same test as a team. This enables the students in each team to discuss with each other the questions they were insecure about on their own and to agree upon a common answer. Only after the team test the scores are revealed in class. This provides each student and each team an adequate feedback. The initial readiness assurance process in form of a short test is followed by an opportunity for the student teams to challenge the preparation content, the questions in the test or the answers they got incorrect. This gives them the chance for increased and deep level interaction with the material and demonstrates their understanding of the topic. In order to encourage and to reward the teams who successfully challenge the preparation or test content, they receive additional credits. This creates some competitive atmosphere in class, which generally results in higher motivation for each team to actively participate in the in-class activities. After the debating class, you as the instructor should review the item analysis from the individual tests and then deliver a short mini lecture on the concepts that, according to the test results, were most problematic for the students. This of course requires a high level of flexibility for you as an instructor. The main part of the lesson, ideally about 80% of the in-class time, is reserved for the team application exercises. In law classes, this part should mainly consist of a case study. The students should either solve a case focusing on the content of the pre-class preparation material on their own, or discuss a legal opinion or court decision on the very topic of the lesson. For you as instructor, it's important to select a case that contains problems to be discussed in teams which are relevant and require the students to use course concepts to solve them. All teams should work on the same problem in order to have reporting opportunities for teams to defend, challenge, discuss and examine the others' thinking and problem solving. Each team is focused to make a final decision on the given problem. At the end, all teams should simultaneously report their decisions, challenge each other and defend their own thinking. Your role as an instructor is mainly to moderate the students' discussion and only to intervene when needed. The in-class activity of team-based learning can either take place in a physical classroom, a virtual classroom or on mobile messengers. When you practice team-based learning in class activities in a physical classroom, you should pay special attention to the design of the classroom. To provide students an appropriate environment for effective teamwork, a normal auditorium with tiers after tiers is not suitable. The ideal classroom for team-based learning activities is composed of several units of group workspaces, ideally a couple of tables surrounded by chairs for up to 16 members. As mentioned above, you as the instructor should make sure that the composition of these groups is diverse and changes each lesson. When you conduct the in-class activity in a virtual classroom, there are several online tools providing an appropriate setting of a virtual classroom, including the possibility of forming small teams. Big Blue Button, Blackboard Collaborate, Google Teams, Microsoft Teams or Zoom. The best experience I had so far was with Zoom. However, all of these virtual classroom applications have the feature of so-called breakout rooms. This is a function to divide the whole class into several groups which meet in separate rooms online that can be entered by the instructor as well. So the students can work together in teams like in a physical classroom and meet again as entire group afterwards for the final discussion in the big virtual classroom. Instead of or in addition to a virtual classroom, you can also let the students work together on mobile messengers such as Signal, Telegram or WhatsApp. Establishing a group on one of these messenger apps, you and your students have a comfortable communication platform for exchanging written text, audio or video files. As usually each student uses one of these messenger apps on his or her mobile phone, it is a very easy and convenient way to communicate within the whole group of small teams. Especially the instruction plus the material for the team-based in-class activity can easily be distributed via group on Messenger. However, ideally the final discussions of the in-class activity should take place in a virtual classroom in which the entire group can meet and each student can use a camera. This creates a better atmosphere for discussion. In sum, I mostly had good experiences with team-based learning in my law classes. There are several benefits making team-based learning an effective way of learning for the students. First of all, team-based learning creates a learning instead of a teaching classroom. This increases the student's involvement as well as his or her own responsibility for successful learning and understanding. Secondly, team-based learning leads to an enhanced level of engagement between the students and the course material. Each student needs to find his or her own way of dealing with the material individually in his or her team and in the entire group. Thirdly, team-based learning raises individual accountability and collaborative skills of the students. The mixture of working in the individual space, in teams and in the whole class offers each student several ways of learning and understanding the topic and minimizes the rate of failing. Fourthly, the problems presented to be solved in teams during the in-class time enable the students to improve their problem-solving skills. The topic not only remains theoretical knowledge, but needs to be challenged in practice. And finally, team-based learning offers multiple opportunities for student self-assessment and for revision by regular feedback given by the teammates, classmates, or by the instructor. Therefore, as a conclusion, team-based learning, or from the perspective of an instructor, team-based teaching, offers a promising and very successful way of learning for the students and for teaching by the instructor. Now, I'm done. Thank you very much for listening, and now I'm looking forward to your questions and comments in the discussion. Thank you very much.